Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Right, I want to talk about the Pixel 6 Pro, and titled this video, The Honeymoon is Over. What do I mean by that? Well, when I first got this phone, I thought it was just absolutely amazing. I still think it's a fantastic phone, but after having used it for about a month or so now, I am having some issues with the phone that I kind of didn't really take into consideration when I first got it, but I'm going to talk about it right now. So the first thing about this phone, which I really despise, is the battery life. The battery life on this phone is atrocious. I'm getting about 3 to 4 hours of screen on time, which is, really, pathetic. And it's not something that, I would recommend if you really want a phone with a good battery life. I would go with the Pixel 6a. The battery life on this phone has just been, to be honest with you, worse than, I guess, the Pixel 5, worse than the Pixel 6a, worse than the Pixel 4a. But of course, those two phones, the 6a and the 4a, all have, a 1080 screen, and they don't have the 90 hertz or 120 hertz refresh rate. So refresh rate matters. The refresh rate will eat up the battery. If you leave the screen on like I do here, always on display, that's going to eat up some battery too. So the battery is a big issue for me, but you can also manage the battery. I go here to Accu Battery here. I always definitely recommend you guys download this app. So at 85%, I have 4 hours and 10 minutes of on-screen time. If it's in idle mode, it'll last about 35 hours. And if you're using, idle and, screen on time, combined total 6 hours and 16 minutes. Now, if you're playing games, you're not going to get more than a couple hours. And, I like to play chess. So I do spend quite a few hours, of the day spent playing chess. It's just one of my things that I like to do. It's one of my hobbies. I also do rideshare as an Uber driver, and so I always have to have two phones with me when I'm doing Uber, because this phone will not last me, for a full shift. So either that, you have to keep, the charger, you have to have a charger in the car to keep it charging, or have an extra phone. So the battery life is an issue here. Other than that, man, once you kind of, get used to it. And another thing you should do is just use Battery Saver. What's Battery Saver is going to do? It's going to go ahead and lower the refresh rate. So that's going to make it a little bit better. And, refresh rate's nice to have a good, high refresh rate, but it doesn't change the functionality of the phone. So definitely use Battery Saver mode. Now, I wish this phone could actually lower the resolution to 1080, because I know Samsung, has the option to go to 1080 or to Quad HD. Google doesn't do that. So the fact that you're not able to downsize the screen resolution, that's going to keep the battery getting hogged up. So I don't know if Google's ever going to address that issue and allow us to change it in the settings or not, but for now, it is what it is. So another thing about this phone that I'm not absolutely pleased with are the haptics. So, typing on this phone is just not as good as it was on the 6A. For some reason, they feel more hollow. I don't know why that is, but they're just not as good. So the haptics on this phone are just not as good. And it's kind of sad, because the haptics were better on the 6A. They were actually better on the 5. They were great on the Pixel 4. They were actually good on the Pixel 4a too. So I'm not sure exactly what happened, why the haptics aren't as good on this phone, but they're not. So it's kind of something to get used to. Now, I'm not saying they're bad. They're still better than almost any phone out there. They're better than any Samsung device. I know, Samsung haptics suck. The typing on this phone is still really good. When you want to type on this phone, it's excellent. Typing on this phone is simple. It's fluid. It's easy. But the haptics aren't what they used to be, or what I'm used to with a Pixel phone. Now, Another thing about this thing is the brightness. Now, brightness, you know, indoors is fine. Once you take this phone outside, forget about it. The screen is really, really dim. I think it gets up to like 800 nits or something like that. So I wish it would get up to like 1500. You know, where you have like my Samsung S21 FE. You know, that one, that's a bright screen. The Z Flip 4, that's another bright screen. So I don't know why they haven't been able to make it brighter in outdoors. Now, I do know that the Pixel 7 and 7 Pro have better screens as far as brightness. So brightness is an issue, and if you use your phone outdoors a lot, you know, take that into consideration. Now, with all that said, this is still my favorite phone. So yeah, it does going to have some drawbacks, but day-to-day use, I absolutely love it. I love it. I love the phone. I love the device. I love actually how it feels in the hand. It's a little big, but after a while, after you've used it for a while, you get used to the size. Actually, I didn't like it for the first couple of days. I was like, man, I miss my Pixel 6a. I like the form factor. But after you've used this phone for about, you know, a couple weeks, you get used to the size. And just get a smaller case where it doesn't take up too much space and doesn't make the phone too bulky, like the Spigen one that I'm using here. And other than that, I mean, the phone is great. Let me go ahead and lower the brightness here. So, in all, I still love this phone. I love the cameras. I love the zoom. I love, you know, the video is good on this phone. The, you know, the sound quality is good on this phone. Everything on this phone is pretty good. So I don't think you're going to have any issues as far as using it. But social media is actually good on this phone. Using it day to day, I absolutely think this is one of the better phones you can buy. And I think at this price point, but you're getting it around $300, you're not going to get a better device. Now, you might be able to find like a Samsung S21 Ultra right now for about $350, which isn't a bad option either. But I think all in all, I think for the money you're getting here, you're getting a lot of device here. So anyways, guys, I hope that helps, man. If you like this video, don't forget to subscribe down below. Until next time, click the like button and see you soon.